Hello there. Today, for something slightly different, I thought I'd look at a spirit because it's something I've tried recently and I'd forgotten quite how much I enjoyed it. So what I've got here is a bottle of Aalborg Akavit. Now this is a clear spirit distilled in Denmark. It's a little like a gin, so it's a clear spirit, only instead of being flavoured with botanicals such as juniper, the principal flavouring here is caraway. You'll also get hints of things like citrus, perhaps fennel, perhaps anise. As a type of spirit, Akavit is produced throughout Scandinavia and also in northern Germany. The name, Aqua Vita, Akavit, means water of life, so much the same as whiskey or skavar, meaning water of life. And evidently there's documentary evidence tracing the production of Akavit back to 1530, although it probably predates that. And Akavit's important in Nordic drinking culture. It's often drunk at festive gatherings, so Christmas dinner, Easter lunch, and the midwinter celebration. And traditionally in Iceland, in Sweden, in Denmark and in Germany, it's served cold, hence I've just taken this bottle out of the freezer. It's served neat and often downed in a single gulp from a shot glass. Be assured I won't be doing that in this tasting. And it can be served as an aperitif, or it can be drunk as an accompaniment to salty foods, such as, for instance, roll mop herrings. And very often when you're consuming it, you'll follow it with a beer chaser. Akavit's not really a drink for the faint-hearted. Now in Sweden there is a tradition of drinking Akavit at the end of a song called a Snapsvisa. The tradition in Norway is slightly different, largely because the Norwegians tend to drink oak-aged Akavit. They will consume it warm and they'll drink it from tulip-shaped glasses that are more wine glass-like. Alborg, or Aalborg, as I think it's more correctly pronounced in Danish, is a brand that belonged to Danish Distillers, Det Danske Spiritus Kompagni, also known as the Danske Spritfabrikker, and this company was headquartered in the city of Aalborg in Denmark. The brand has its genesis on the 15th of January 1446, when Isidor Henius, a Polish-born immigrant, founded along with his backers the Aalborg Priviligerede Sirup of Spritfabrik, or hopefully something along the lines of the Aalborg Privileged Sirup and Spirits Factory. And what the company was doing was making syrup and spirits from potatoes. As a result of this, Isidor Henius is considered the founder of modern spirits distilling in Denmark. Now, Danish Distilleries was established in 1881 as a result of a merger of a number of smaller distilleries, including Henius's distillery. It was done by somebody called Carl Frederik Tietgen. And Tietgen was responsible for a number of such mergers, and I believe was involved in the creation of the Tuborg Distillery. But Danish Distillers, the company that this merger created, ended up controlling the entire of Denmark's spirit production. The Alborg factory in which the Akavit in this bottle would have been produced was completed in 1931. It was designed in a neoclassical design by the architect Alf Koch Clausen. And evidently this is now a Danish heritage site, and you can go and visit the distillery, and I believe it's an excellent visit. Danish Distillers, however, was actually taken over by the Norwegian Arcus group in 2013, which led to the moving of the production of Aalborg Akavit to Norway. However, they do claim that the recipe remains unchanged from that was first used in 1846. So Akavit must be distilled from an agricultural base, and so that's mostly potatoes or grain. Similarly to gin, it's flavoured by infusing the spirit with botanicals during a second distillation. Now, the dominant flavours in Akavit must be caraway or dill. Sometimes both are used, and evidently Swedish Akavit must also contain fennel. So modern Aalborg Akavit is made using neutral grain spirit. Now the second distillation of the spirit really does refine the spirit, ensuring a smooth finish, getting rid of the fiery notes, but also of course capturing the essential oils of the botanicals that are being used. Clearly the recipe for Aalborg Akavit is not made public, but other common botanicals include cardamom, cumin, anise and coriander. Evidently the Aalborg brand also includes one Akavit that's distilled with amber, which imparts pine-like and sort of citrusy aromas and flavours, so it sounds almost like Retsina. But the recipes and flavours do differ between brands, with each brand's unique characteristics coming from the distillation methods and the combination of botanicals with which it's infused. Now, unaged Akavit is completely clear, as indeed this is. Oak-aged Akavit can have a pale straw to golden colour, depending on how long it's been aged for. However, there is another category of clear Akavit, which is Taffel Akavit, which I believe this could be, although it's not specified on the label, which is aged in old barrels and thus doesn't gain any character. Now this particular bottle is quite an old one that I was gifted, so it will actually have been distilled in Denmark at the Aalborg Distillery. Also, looking at the label here, it doesn't have an alcohol content on, so I don't know whether this is at 40 or 45% alcohol. So let's have a look at it and see what we make of it, shall we? Very little to say about the colour. It's completely water white. Swirling it, the spirit is clinging to the glass here, but it's really quite slow to show tears. It is doing so now. Let's see what we make of the aroma, shall we? Unsurprisingly, Caraway is the dominant aroma. There's plenty of notes of fennel. There is quite an underlying sort of anise, almost Pernod sort of like aromas. But yes, the Caraway comes back to the fore at the end of the aromas there. So let's take a tiny sip, shall we? There's certainly a warmth there, which does make me think this is probably bottled at 45% alcohol. As the rich, spirity aromas spread across my tongue, the Caraway is really noticeable. Behind that, there's some really beautifully defined notes of fennel. Very possibly, I don't think I'm imagining it, there's a little bit of citrus behind that as well, giving quite a clean, long-lasting finish. As I say, I've had this in the freezer, it's beautifully cold. The flavours are clean, they're precise. I believe the bottle may be quite an old one, but there's no mustiness to the flavours. They're clean and well defined, and it leaves my mouth very fresh. Now, there is no Wine Searcher aggregated critic score for Aalborg Akavit, and I have to say, I don't think I have the requisite experience tasting many other Akavits to be able to rate this and give it a score. But what I do love is its cleanliness, its preciseness, those beautiful clean flavours, and there is a sort of an icy pureness overlaying the notes of Caraway, fennel, anise and citrus that are there, making this a very enjoyable drink. I don't know whether it's acceptable to do so, but I think you could quite happily add soda water or tonic and make an enjoyable long drink out of this. Alternatively, perhaps I should round it off with a beer. Thank you so much for watching. I do hope you found the tasting of interest. If you have, do please press the like button, that would be fantastic. If you'd like to watch more of my tastings, it would be really appreciated if you'd subscribe to my YouTube channel. And if you do that, set yourself an alert so you can be notified every time I publish a new tasting. If you have friends you think might like to see the video, do please feel free to pass it on to them. And if you have any comments, do please pop those in the comments box below. I'd love to know what you think about Akavit, about the tastings I'm doing, or anything else related to that. I'll leave a link to the Wine Searcher webpage for Aalborg Akavit so that you can find out if it's available in the market near you and at what price. So thank you once again for watching, and I do hope that maybe you'll manage to make some time and come and join me for another tasting in the very near future. Till then, skål!